Coming up on today's episode of the Video Marketing Toolkit. It wouldn't have maybe painted such of a nicer picture if they actually looked at the accounts and the books and how much money we made.
With attention, we've actually just done a really good study with Lumen Research. It was using eye tracking glasses and technology.
I guess this is all, it's new ideas, isn't it? It's new theory because you haven't put so much research behind it as well. He's knocking the studio down right at the end. He's done, he's trashing it. Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of the Video Marketing Toolkit. My name is Dan and I help people get in front of the camera for the first time and create videos for their business. This is my podcast, the Video Marketing Toolkit, the podcast where we speak to business owners and industry experts about their chosen fields. We learn about their career, their journeys and what they're doing now, and find tips and hints to give back to you, the audience, so you can go out and use them in your own business. Today on the podcast, I speak to my very, very good friend, Ben Goode. I've known him since year 7. We've gone to uni together, we've gone to school together, we've worked together, and he's now a brand and communications manager as part of the Co-op Media Network. Welcome to the studio, Benjamin Goode. Woo! Take a seat. Oh, you've knocked the mic already.
It's okay. It'll be fine.
How are you doing, Ben?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
We've had a nice little setup, haven't we?
I know, we've been set up, or we've filmed the setup. You got to experience firsthand what it's like to set up a podcast.
I know, I've been hearing a lot about it over the past 6 months to a year. The Dan Dennis Media Adventures into podcasting.
Dropping it in the group chat, telling you what I'm up to. Have you been on a podcast before? Is this your first podcast?
Never been on a podcast before.
So this is like a brand new experience for you.
I am much more of a behind-the-camera producer kind of guy, so this is my first time on a podcast. Yeah.
It kind of feels weird actually talking to you right now on a podcast because I feel like the mood's just switched now. It's serious.
Oh my God, we are serious business chat now.
We're being recorded. So yeah, I guess we want to speak about, we've got a few things to speak about today. We're going to speak about how we know each other, where it all started, where marketing started, and then I guess what we're up to at the moment. So shall we go right back to the beginning? What was your first memory of me?
I think it would be Miss Collier's science in year 7.
Okay.
I think we sat together, 2 little afraid nerds on the first day of school or something like that.
First day of big school.
Talking about Just Cause 2.
Yeah, I do
Managed to find, thank God, some common ground. Do you play video games too? And now look at us.
Yeah, this is it. We're still those 2 nerds that still play video games, but nothing's really changed there.
Yeah. 3,000 hours of World of Warcraft later, here we are.
To be fair, I feel like in our journey though, and going from school, the careers we picked, the lessons that we picked, the subjects, I feel like gaming did actually have a huge part of it because we were just in front of our computers 24/7. We just immersed ourselves in technology, and it definitely influenced our pathway a little bit. Do you know what I mean?
I think with PC gaming especially, you have to learn a bit of computer proficiency, installing mods for games like that. We were doing it 12, 13. And then that really sort of adds up, especially when you're spending as much time as we happened to spend back in the day. And I think our chosen games as well, we were playing things where you can get involved in online communities, where you are sort of, you're recommended to do different sort of media channels, like graphic design, stuff like that, in order to sort of boost your reputation in those communities. And I think that's really where the sort of media production side of things started for us, the personal branding on these games and communities when we were literally 14, 15.
And that's it. And we were creating you were creating video montages about you in the game. I was doing an online newspaper sort of thing. And this is when we were kids that we were doing for fun. And it's hang on a minute, there's a lot of similarities between what we're doing
13 years ago, Dan. 13
and what
years
we're doing
ago.
now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, your job in that game, your role in that game is completely translated to what you do now. And I think that's the same for a few people we know.
Yeah.
Someone in the community in the cybersecurity team now is cybersecurity for a massive retailer. And I think we were all finding our footing back then. And it's good to look back and see how well that's translated through. Yeah,
definitely. At the end of the day, we were just doing what we enjoyed, right? We were playing a game, but then also we added our own little bit of extra magic and a little bit of a hobby on top of it, whether it was creating a video montage or doing a design on a post for a forum or something. But then actually it was just wow, it's actually grown and developed into something that I could never even imagine what it would be when I was a kid sort of thing.
Absolutely.
So that was, I guess, our first experience into marketing, being creative,
13.
creating stuff at 13. Probably, yeah, I think it probably was about 13, wasn't it? I guess year 7, year 8. But then we went to uni, didn't we? Went to uni, both did the same course at uni.
Onto media production. Thank God. I very almost went and did ancient history, didn't I?
That would have been a completely different timeline if you went and did ancient history.
Yes, I think the school we were at sort of wanted to make sure their numbers were pushed up. So like, go and do ancient history and you'll definitely get in. But I think on results day, I was like, I don't think I want to learn about Egypt. I want to carry on being creative.
It was ancient history at Anglo-Ruskin.
Anglo-Ruskin.
Right? So Cambridge, but not actually Cambridge.
Yeah, well, my mum would have said it to everyone I was at Cambridge. She would have enjoyed it.
Cambridge.
But yeah, I think that was a last minute, like, do I want to do what I think is safe or something that I'd really enjoy?
Yeah.
And obviously doing something I enjoyed seems to have paid dividends. And that's the same for us both.
I literally remember actually on clearing, and you were like, "What?"
Yeah. What's that creative course you're doing that you're telling me about?
Yeah. What's that one where you're making signatures again?
Yeah.
So yeah, media production. Obviously, I sort of went into it because my dad was always good with cameras and photography. So I always sort of had a camera when I was a kid, and it was always something there. Did you have like any sort of any experience with cameras or anything like actually hands-on creative, I guess, before that, apart from the stuff in the gaming community?
No, nothing like that. I had more of a learning curve when we got there. I'd had some experience in graphic design. I did graphic design at school and stuff like that. But I was always sort of sided more towards the why things go into place and why the media is created than the how. And I think that's where we sort of separated into different paths at university. You were very much, how do I get this perfect shot? How do I look into the different pieces, a different camera and do this? And I was, why would we use that? Why would that resonate well with people? At least this is when we're at uni. That's what sort of pushed me into go into my master's in marketing management when you were dashing around the clubs with your several camera setups and your ring light, getting in the trenches in the action. I was never sort of that proficient with cameras like you are. And I think that's where our sort of careers then started to take different shapes. I went into more marketing roles in terms of the specific strategy, and you had that complete picture as well, where you'd look at the strategy and then you'd be like, right,
this is how we
set
put it
up
into
a massive
action.
podcast and get on camera.
I guess because it's not something that, like you said, it's something that we went into, didn't we? Went into those different areas, and you obviously learnt probably a lot more about that behind the scenes stuff in your masters as well, and the theory of it all, rather than the practicality sort of it. But after uni, we did end up working at the same place as well for a bit.
We did, working with cars.
Auto Export. So I was working at Auto Export. It was just sort of in the middle of COVID. And that was my first 9-to-5 job at Auto Export, and I was doing a marketing role there. And after a few years, I managed to get Ben involved as well, and we'd sit you as part-time, weren't you, a few days a week, but it was in the same office.
Whilst I was still doing my masters, I think it was around that time.
Yeah, because you were working at One Stop as well at the time.
And I was I was in Leicester for my masters, and this job was in Leicester, so it all tied together. You can't get rid of me, can you?
Literally, I'm like, Ben, dragging you along the way on the journey.
Those were good days, though.
No, it was really fun, and I think it was fun for us both to be in an office and sort of. Not that it wasn't the most crazy corporate environment, but we was in an office together. It was relaxed. We had the cars that we could create content with, but we could just be sort of think about other things as well, because we sort of had the other idea at the time brewing in the background, which was CD, which was a clothing brand that we tried to sort of launch.
CD. So I think we were sort of looking at launching it at that time, but it never really took a full sort of boom until I think COVID. And then we looked around and we had all of these different people that we knew who, obviously, some of them came off our course, some of them we'd met through other means. Everyone was sort of a creative, and I think we were there like, why don't we try and monetize this?
Do something together.
Two young kids trying to make a book and be creative.
And I think that was it as well. It was like we had so many creative friends that we knew, from uni, just in our generation, that we just wanted to pull together and do something with it, and also just channel our creative means into something for our own, rather than it being employed by someone or something like that. And I think it was really fun to just sort of run with it, get people involved, sort of see what we could do.
Well, I think it was something we needed as well at the time. not just for our own development, but I think it was around the time that COVID was getting quite serious. You're sort of locked in your home. Everyone needed their own sort of focus point, and we managed to have that at the same time. It was a sort of collaborative effort where we can all build towards this single goal at the end. I mean, I remember when COVID started to sort of lessen down and we had that first studio day. And I think that was the first time a lot of us had been brought together in a sort of creative capacity outside of university.
Yeah.
And it was also one of the first sort of socializing experiences that we had after being locked in our houses for so long. So that was a really good time. And
it's just seeing what people could do, right? Like not really having much expectations on anyone, just bringing our friends together and being like, this is a vague idea of what we're going to do. Let's just have a laugh, run with it and sort of see what we can create.
Yeah.
And at the time, I think we was all thinking about, it looks good on the CV and, in the portfolio and stuff like that. Definitely no regrets.
Good on the CV. I think that's what helped me then get my first proper 9-to-5 in marketing after that. So it was off the back of COVID. I was working part-time at One Stop and part-time with you at the export place. And then decided to move to that 9-to-5, and CD was quite a big sort of section on my CV there. And I remember my then boss told me after the fact that was a sort of stand-up to be like a self-starter, and it really sort of made me stand out in the interview process. So I think it all came together in the end, didn't it?
Definitely. It wouldn't have maybe painted such of a nicer picture if they actually looked at the accounts and the books and how much money we made.
Have we made a profit on this, or are we making a loss? It's a loss leader.
It's definitely a loss leader.
They're all loss leaders.
We did it. I remember clicking that launch button because we used like a drop shipping platform, didn't we?
Yeah.
And we're both there in our 9-to-5 jobs. Like, okay, why have we now launched while we're at work?
We set the launch date at 9 a.m. on a Monday when we were both in different offices?
It was not the greatest idea. So then we had to get our other friend on board, Oscar, to literally bail us out and be like, find out why the website's not working.
We'll give you 33%. Just come in.
Biggest business decisions like on the fly, but it was fun though, right?
It's all a learning curve.
It was a learning curve, and it was fun. And I think we all learned, like even things like that we put into practice. Like I remember you putting into like practice the market research. Like we put together surveys and asked people on Instagram what designs they liked and stuff like that. And even though it's all very small scale, it's still it's putting into practice those skills that we learn and we're developing sort of thing.
Putting the theory into it, building like business cases on how we should do stuff, why we should use a drop shipper opposed to, buying it in advance. Probably couldn't buy it in advance because it's COVID and we were skin deep.
We literally didn't have any capital to invest in it whatsoever.
Business case for using drop shipping is we've got no other choice.
Yeah, literally. It takes 4 to 8 weeks for it to arrive as well.
Stick it in the T&Cs.
No, it'll be fine. But it was good. And then you got your first proper job in marketing, really, then, didn't you, after Auto Export? So this is where we sort of like splintered off into different directions.
Yeah.
So where did your marketing career start?
So my first full 9-to-5 was at a place called Brief Your Market, which is in Little Eaton, and they are technically a prop tech company. They have their own CRM service, which has integrated marketing tools into it. And within their company, they had a client managed service where they would onboard estate agents, and then any of the estate agents who didn't have enough time to create their own marketing, they'd have the internal marketing team, which I was a part of, to help them sort of strategize how we should approach their marketing and sort of try and help build conversions, get them valuations, and help sell houses.
Awesome.
I was there for, I think it was a year or two. I can't really remember. It was maybe 5 or 6 years ago now.
Which is crazy, actually, when you say something like that.
Crazy, yeah.
It's
the first time I've said that.
Yeah, it is. How long ago it actually is now since we were there.
I'd say, looking back at that, it was a learning curve there. It was good. I enjoyed it day to day. I have never lived in a scenario which was so close to the TV show The Office. And I have still got best friends to this day who I worked with. I think all of us came away and we still stay in contact to this day. It was such a great place to work. And then I think we all sort of split ends at the same time. It was like, right.
Because you're all similar age as well, right? A few of you are all, and I feel like you're all at the same sort of career moment. So Great for get your foot in the door. Not really designed to stick around too long, though.
yeah, and I think that was something that even the management there were quite transparent with. It's a very sort of flat org chart. There's not much progression here, but it's like, this is your jump pad into marketing. This is how you can move on further. And I think we all sort of reached that same stage at the same time. So it was kind of a max exodus as we all go to different places in the country, and we all go to different jobs into marketing, but in different sectors as well. So I think it turned out really well for us. And like I say, we still stay in contact to this day, a lot of us. So
that's awesome.
Very lucky to have a place like that to work with, or at least have the people I worked with there. They really made it what it was. And having, obviously me and you will know this because we've been in the same sort of sector the whole time, but having a close-knit group of friends who are all sort of in the same sort of industry as you, it makes it so good because you get to sort of talk about any work worries, stuff like that. You get to share ideas, and you all get to sort of expand on each other's progress. And it's always good to have someone to talk to about work when they actually completely understand.
Yeah, when they relate, right? Like being able to go into something so niche and someone else actually getting it and being like, oh, like, I understand it. I think it is worth a lot, especially when, like, our friendship group, everyone's in completely different careers, really, apart from... Well, there's a few of us, obviously, we've kind of got the split friendship group, haven't we? We've got the group from back home, all the boys, that are all doing completely separate things, and then everyone from uni is kind of very creative in the marketing section. So when we back in that home scenario, it's like everyone's doing something different. So having those people to relate with is
they
like...
don't want us chewing their ears off about work.
Exactly,
Like, you talking shop again?
Though I'm very addicted to talking shop most of the time, as soon as I've had a drink.
Let me tell you about the shoots I've been doing the other day. The boys that are rolling their eyes.
Stop talking about work.
I'm going to the bar.
But it's no, in the time it's definitely good to be able to relate to people, definitely.
Yeah.
So that was your first sort of pillar in marketing. But I feel like you actually not jumped really high up the ladder, but I think you landed a really good job sort of quite early on, though, didn't you? Really?
I'd say that I definitely would after that. So towards the end of my career of my job at Brief Your Market, I was part of the key accounts team. In the key accounts team, I managed our biggest client, National Home Move. National Home Move are a franchise of Your Move, Reed's Rains. You see them everywhere. Because I had my experience with them as a franchise group, I saw a role going at One Stop at the headquarters in Walsall to be a franchise marketing executive there. Now, I had just come from One Stop working in store to Brief Your Market, so then went straight back to One Stop in the office. Went to the interview, and I just happened to have very much the same transferable skills because of this specific team that I was in. So then I went there, and I think I might have been there for 6 or 7 months, and my manager went on maternity leave, and I thankfully managed to convince my manager, the head of One Stop franchise, John Miller, to sort of take a shot on me and allow me to step up into that role during that time.
To fill that sort of maternity role place.
And
so what position did you come in at? Assistant
I went
manager?
In franchise marketing executive, and then I went up to the marketing manager. So my roles very much quickly changed from, having a plan and doing the work to follow that plan to sort of having free reign over the complete plan myself and putting that into effect. So it was a scary transition. I think I spoke to you about that at the time. There's nothing more imposter syndrome than having a quick jump up like that. But I luckily had a great mentor at the time, John Miller. He is an absolute hero if you ever meet him. And he mentored me quite a lot with that, and he helped me push forward and learn quite a lot. And in the end, when my manager did come back, the actual marketing team itself got rearranged, so I was put on an equal level to her. So it was good. I've obviously earned my stripes, thankfully,
definitely.
And I managed to sort of excel my career very early. And
you definitely killed it. I mean, you must, at the end of the day, you must have done a good job to be in that position in the first place, and for John to want to take that chance, you must have given some good evidence why you would have done a good job. Yeah,
it was scary though. It was scary. I think the words imposter syndrome is something that everyone feels.
Yeah, definitely.
Life. And that was definitely sort of a high peak for that because
how old would you have been then? We would have been like what, 25 at this point? 23, 24?
I think. Yeah, 24.
Which really is like, thinking back now, it's still a kid, man. It's so young still.
Yeah, I mean, I was in store on the tills a year and 6 months before that.
That's crazy.
But I think that's the one thing that I really enjoyed about One Stop as well. That it's a smaller retailer. They're a subsidiary of Tesco, but that means that the team is all very close knit in the office, and everyone sort of knows each other, and everyone's willing to trust each other and take a chance on each other. I think businesses that have a culture like that, they propel people really far, and they propel themselves far as a business as well.
And sometimes at the end of the day, it's not really about knowledge that they might have, but it's the willingness to learn. It's showing that they can use those transferable skills. You know, they're on their feet and they're awake, and they're really passionate about the position that they're in. I think if I was ever looking to employing people, I'd definitely want someone who's got the energy to learn and run with it, rather than maybe someone who's done it for 10 years sort of thing. So
Yeah,
just having that ability to grab it with both hands and just run with it, I think is really strong.
I think that's something that's really changing as well. I don't know if it's just in our industry. I wouldn't know outside of our industry, but the idea of people going into interviews and being recognised for what they can do and what they can learn over what they've previously done is sort of taking the lead now, which I think is really important, because it gives younger people in this industry, which is like very competitive, a chance.
And it is really competitive, to be honest. Like, I remember even applying for jobs before, it was difficult to get stuff in marketing, and now it's like people are so much better at marketing themselves. Like the bar is so much higher than it sort of used to be.
Everyone has a HD camera in their pocket and the ability to edit videos by just downloading one app for free. And that, in the past 6 years especially, has raised the bar to an insane level. And like the learning curve is now crazy. And I think that's why it's important to be able to take chances on people, because not everyone has the time to learn that on their own accord. You know, people might be working 2 jobs, single parents, stuff like that. It's good to be able to recognise the value in what they can bring and not just what they've done.
Yeah, definitely. And like, even as an employer, right, you're looking to employ someone. Do you pick the person who's got 60,000 followers on their own TikTok talking about something completely different, or do you pick the person who's got like a master's in marketing? It's like, it's such a kind of like
I think it honestly will always come down to the individual person.
Yeah, I think it will in that case.
You've always got your team as well, and how well your team is going to work together. If you want a high functioning team, I don't think it can be chosen from a CV. It needs to be in that conversation in the interview where you see whether you're going to work together or not.
You get to know someone and you actually realise who the person is. Yeah.
You could be trying to build a marketing team and have someone who's built an Instagram account with 10 million followers, and if you hire them just on that fact and you don't work together in like a manager to team member scenario, that's just not going to work well in a team. So I think it will always come down to the personal touch, but at the same time, it's about taking it all into account.
So that was obviously what you did for One Stop. Where did it all start with Co-op?
So I was living in Leeds when I worked at One Stop, which, as I mentioned before, the One Stop offices is in Walsall. So it's a bit of a drive back and
Where's
forth.
Walsall? Like Birmingham way?
Birmingham, yeah, Birmingham.
That is a drive.
It is a drive, especially in rush hour after being in the office. But I decided that I wanted to move to Manchester for a while, and I was also looking at jobs in the Manchester area to match that, because I thought if I'm going to do about a year or 2 in Manchester, I don't want to be continuing to do this commute. And sort of in the same facet that happened with One Stop, when I sort of started looking and found a job that had very similar transferable skills to mine, I found that with Co-op. And I found the role for brand and communications manager for their retail media network.
Okay.
So that's Co-op Retail Media Network. It started in January last year, and it's a business within Co-op, like the funeral service and the food service, that offers brands that are stocked and non-endemic brands the chance to sort of boost their conversions in store and build brands through the in-store retail media that we've got.
And what's in-store retail media?
In-store retail media is, I'll give you a few examples. You walk into a store and you've got an advert in the chocolate section for Twix or something like that. It's very much within the store. It's very often brands that are stocked but not limited to them. You can get sort of non-endemic brands. For example, you might have a Monzo or something like that, advertising at pay points, or Apple Pay trying to advertise at pay points.
Okay.
So it's basically just the advertising space within a store. So Co-op Media Network would be the media owner within Co-op.
So it's kind of like selling to brands like, right, Twix, you've got a products in our stores. How would you like to run a campaign in our store to boost the sale of Twix, sort of thing?
Yes, so we would work with them and we'd build the campaigns. So recently we've done a campaign through our co-creation scheme. And co-creation, it's a little bit like Dragon's Den. We invite like 8 brands to come in, and they sit with a judge board of 4 people, and they sort of pitch their co-creation campaign.
And these are brands that are already in Co-op, right?
Yeah. So those brands, then they're picked out of the 8 of them and they win media space. The recent one that we've done is Coca-Cola doing a campaign with the Special Olympics.
Okay.
In which case it's sort of a full store takeover. You walk in, there might be wraps on the front of the store that says Coca-Cola with some of the athletes on there. The athletes would be going to the stores on a certain day and meeting them, and it's all sort of a campaign that is for charity and is also linked to Coca-Cola. That is one of the big campaigns, for an example.
And they went in and pitched that. They were like, okay, we want to do this thing for charity. It ties in with your brand.
Yeah.
It's a good cause and things like that. Awesome.
But then outside of that, it is just your regular stuff that you think you'd see when you walk in. So, for example, it would be like when you're walking around a convenience store, you might see a meat brand advertised in the meat section. It's very much at the point of purchase, and it's relevant to the shopper who's in the shopper mindset. Especially within a convenience store, you might use the signage to sort of navigate around.
Yeah.
Therefore, your mind is open to it. If you're on social media or something, you might be scrolling and you get an advert and you're immediately like, get away. You don't really want to see the advert, where when you're in that buying mindset, you might be more receptive to it.
You're kind of looking out. Yeah, you're right, because you're looking out for adverts. Like, you're walking around the store and you're like, oh, what do I fancy? You're looking at all the different products that are there. So if one particular brand probably has a bit more retail space on the shelf with a little fancy sign, and there's a little thing hanging above it in the aisle, then it's going to grab your attention a lot more when you're there to buy it.
With attention, we've actually just done a really good study with Lumen Research, and that uncovered the difference between retail media in a large store, a large format superstore, compared to convenience retail. It was using eye tracking glasses and technology. We sent shoppers on a walk around a shop to do a shopping mission. And at the end of the study, it was uncovered that in a convenience retail media store, when you're looking at that retail media, you're paying 2 times the attention to it. It's getting 3 times the visibility, because you're walking around and obviously you see it more. If you're in a large store, you might completely miss it if you're not into that aisle. And the biggest one was 4 times the brand recall. So it's not just being used as a point of purchase conversion tool. It's actually staying with the shoppers, and you're remembering the brands after the fact.
A lot more than if it was in a big store.
Yeah, and it's sort of proving to the industry that retail media isn't just that sort of conversion and purchase tool anymore. It's also brand building.
I think that's really interesting, because it's like the psychology behind it as just like a consumer. It kind of fits in as well, right? Because if I'm going to a big store, usually I know exactly what I want to get. There's that many people in there. I want to go to point A, point B, get my stuff, leave. And if I'm walking around the aisles not knowing what I want to buy, I get really annoyed at myself because I'm just stressed out because I don't know what to buy. Whereas I feel like when you go into a convenience store, you're like, oh, I'm going to nip to the shops and just get a few bits and see what's there, what I fancy, sort of thing. So I guess it does open you up to a lot more of like, oh, I might try something new, because it's just on the shelf in the shop, rather than surrounded by all these other, this sea of other brands. So I think that is really interesting. I've saw a post on LinkedIn as well about some brands being really specific where in the shop that they advertise as well. So, for example, rather than putting the chocolate on the chocolate aisle, sort of Cadbury's doing a point of sale display in the wine aisle, and like doing like date night in. Is that kind of the stuff that you guys do as well?
Yeah, it could be. It's very much pairing the different products to make sure that it would have the greatest effect. And yeah, it is something that we've done before, and it just depends on the campaign to campaign basis, really. Obviously, we've got a lot of insight behind how previous campaigns have worked, and we're always working on new research to see how we can further improve sort of, one, how we approach the building of our campaigns, and to see to prove the point that convenience is different, really, as well.
So I guess this is all. It's a new ideas, isn't it? It's new theory because you're having to put so much research behind it as well.
It is a new space, and there's a lot of research that's been done on it. One, for example, is we worked with a brand called Sakana. Now, Co-op actually shares customers with the most retailers in the UK. So I think you'd look at the food side of the business, they might sweat a little bit at that, like, oh my God, we've got the most sort of shopper share. Our competitors are taking our shoppers a lot more.
Oh, so just to break that down, so Co-op, most people at Co-op most people that shop at Co-op also shop somewhere else.
Yes. So, for example, I think it's 9. If you are a Co-op shopper, you might visit 9 other brands as well. So we have the share of the highest, whereas, say, Tesco might have lower than that.
Because if you shop at Tesco, you always go back to Tesco sort of thing.
Well, yeah, you plan your superstore shop, don't you? Where
Yeah.
Co-op, you just nip in. Now, for the food side of the business, that might make them sweat a little bit because it's like we have a share with a lot of competitors. But for us, we did work with Sakana, and it actually turned out to be fantastic news because we couldn't go to our competitors ourselves and say to them, "Oh, how much is your sales of this brand getting boosted?" They'd never want to share it with us. And I think it breaks competition law. But we went through a research group, Sakana, and we did a closed loop analysis of if we put this advertising, it was a major beer brand, if we put this advertising in our Co-op store, does it increase the sales in all of the competitors' stores in our area? And it turns out that incrementally, I think it massively increased it almost by quadruple.
So by them seeing it in Co-op, they then was like, I might go and buy this in Tesco, or I might buy this in Asda and things like that.
Or they might just be in there in the moment and decide. So they see our advertising for a 4-pack of beer, and they're like, well, I'm not going to buy that now. I'm quickly nipping into the shop to get X, X, and X. Then they may be at a superstore 5 days later, and whilst they're in that superstore, they're like, oh, I'm going to get some beer. The brand recall shows that then they would buy that pack of beer at a higher rate. And not only that, they're not just buying 4-packs, they're buying bigger packs. So the sales rates are going higher as well.
So it's almost they're seeing the 4-pack in the Co-op when they're getting their milk and their eggs. And then on the weekly shop, when they're doing the weekly shop, whether that's in a bigger Co-op store or another store, they're buying an 18-pack of beer like after the fact.
Exactly, yeah, because of the advertising that would be within our stores. And this is all...
is that just focusing on that again, is that good news for you guys then? Because it's like our advertising in our stores works really well in convenience. That's kind of your case study that convenience store marketing is actually really effective.
Yeah, that was a huge case study for us and that research, because it shows the impact that it has, not just outside of the sales metrics, but even like as a wider span. Like, this is a brand building tool. It's speaking to shoppers right at the point of purchase, even though they might not be purchasing that specific product at the time. It sticks in their head.
No, that's brilliant. And I think it's really interesting how you could take that theory and try and relate it to other businesses and other aspects of marketing as well. Like, because obviously, like with the most basic form of it, I always think of is cross-selling, when you're about to add something to the basket and it pops up at the end saying, do you want to add this in as well? Like, you know what I mean? That's right at the point of sale. But yeah, other ways and how you could make use of that and stuff like that. Like, I think it's really cool.
Yeah, well, it's not only for brands that are stocked within Co-ops, it's also for non-endemic brands as well. So, for example, you could have on the digital screens that we have at the front of store, we've got hundreds and hundreds of digital screens out there. You could have a localized campaign for a small festival in the area. Say, if you wanted to do... Not Glastonbury, everyone would know that.
If you wanted the Sausage and Cider Festival in Derby or Swad or something like that.
Yeah, if you wanted to advertise the Sausage and Cider Festival in Derby, you could create a campaign, or the council who are behind that could come to us and say, I want all of the localised co-ops to have on the digital screens as a campaign, this Sausage and Cider Festival is happening in the local area. So it doesn't always need to be, say, your product-based stocked in Co-op brands. It could be non-endemic brands, very localized and small, that are sort of making use of this, because having our front of screen stores makes us a full digital out of home supplier now as well. So
with it being so new and sort of untapped territory, how much has like investing into research helped you guys?
I think it's helped us a lot, but I think as the sort of first in the space, it's sort of our responsibility to be innovators with that as well. And, we believe in convenience retail media. We believe that convenience is different, and we know that for a fact. But us just coming on the scene and saying, okay, we've got our little section of the industry and it's so powerful, it isn't enough on its own.
Yeah, you need to back it, right?
We need to prove it, and it's something that we've been able to successfully do time and time again. I think it's the sentiment within our team that we're always going to want to innovate. We're always going to look for that new piece of research that is going to help prove the theory that convenience is different. I think it creates such a strong conversation within any industry that you do it in, that research becomes a key part of what you do. Having a differentiator in your business is massive, and I think it's always best to try and think outside the box and see how you can differentiate yourself and try and prove that point. So I think that's a very powerful tool to have.
Yeah, definitely. I think most businesses can take advantage of that anyway, with testimonials and case studies, to have that evidence to back you up. But especially in such an innovative, new environment where no one really has anything other than what people say to go off, those testimonials, that research, that sort of badge of certification to be like, this is like evidence, is really helpful.
And these are huge groups that we are working with, like Lumen Research and Sakana. They are like internationally well known and credible. So it's not just doing the research and saying, now we've found this out, but it's being able to work with these massive brands that are internationally credible and have them say, we have done the work with Co-op and this is the matter of fact of it.
No, this is it. I think it is cool as well, how you mentioned about the glasses, like sending people in with eye tracking glasses to like pick out, to literally mirror what a shopper would do and stuff like that and compare it. So
yeah, it's really futuristic stuff. And I think if you look into Mike Follett, the CEO of Lumen Research, he'll have lots of stuff of him talking about it online, and he's really interesting to listen to. And Lumen do that sort of stuff all the time. They're like the eye tracking experts in the field.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Ben. We've got the exciting part of the podcast now, which
Wonderful.
You've been looking forward to.
Yes.
So, as a new part of the podcast, in the past few episodes,
the first one or no?
No, I've done 3 now, I think, or 2, but it's still fairly new. So, if anyone's not aware of what I've been doing recently, this is the segment I like to call Ask the Ask Who? This is the segment I like to call Ask the Expert. So I'm going to ask Ben 20 questions about his chosen specialised subject, and he's going to ask me... Chosen by me, but empowered by AI. I haven't told him what it is yet. And I'm going to... he's then going to ask me 20 questions back, and I've got to answer as many as I can in 60 seconds, and we're going to see who wins. So, I'm going to enlist the help of someone. Joanne, do you want to be our independent adjudicator? So I've got Joanne with me today as well, who we're filming an episode next, and I'm going to enlist the help of her to be the independent adjudicator on this one. Oof. So, Ben, your chosen specialist subject is the artist Lorde. Now, me and Ben, I've seen Lorde together a few times. We've been following her for years and years and years. We're going to go see her again in
putting it to the test now.
November. So we're going to put it to the test.
You're not looking at the answers there.
No, I'm just trying to find the answers now so I can give them to... well, no, I guess I need the questions, but I need... Joanne, can you put a timer on your phone ready? Awesome.
Ask the expert, it's your time to grow. Learn the things you need to know. Only on the Video Marketing Show.
I want some Bradley Walsh speed on this reading.
Yeah, it's like the chase style. Think Cash Builder.
There we go.
Okay, so Joanne, are we ready with the timer? What is Lorde's real name?
Ella Yellick-O'Connor.
Yeah. What is the name of Lorde's breakout single?
Royals.
Which country is Lorde from?
New Zealand.
What is the title of Lorde's debut album released in 2013? Well, how old was Lorde when Royals hit number 1?
16.
Yeah. What is the name of Lorde's second studio album?
Melodrama.
In 2018, Lorde was part of a star-studded tribute concert with which musical icon?
David Bowie.
Yeah. What colour is featured the title of Lord's 2021 album?
What colour?
It says what
Blue.
yeah.
Solar power.
It says solar power. I don't know why it's this colour. Which Lord song features the lyrics "We are hollow like the bottles of wine"?
White Teeth Teens.
World Alone.
Oh no.
Lord create. What? Sorry. 10 seconds. Lord created a soundtrack for which 2014 film
Hunger
series? Which 1980s pop legend did Lord say inspired the sound of melodrama? It was Phil Collins.
Phil Collins.
I think you did really well there, to be fair.
How many did I get?
I think you literally got one.
I
No,
got
you didn't
one
get that
wrong.
one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
That's a bit sad, isn't it?
7, 8,
I managed to
9,
get all of them.
10. 10 out of 20. That was good. I'm not sure I'm going to quite be able to beat that.
Let's see your questions then.
Because I reckon the way it's done it as well, you've got all the really easy ones, and then I've got the really hard
Let's
ones.
see.
I've just seen the first question. I'm not going to be able to get that one.
Which
but-
one's yours?
So there's a set that says Dan if you scroll down.
You've got the same one as mine.
What? They're all the same?
What's Lord's real first name? Okay.
I only know a first name.
You need to do the full one. So.
I don't know a full name. Okay. We'll see how we go. Okay, Joanne, if we can, the timer again, please.
What title did Time magazine give Lord in 2013?
I don't know.
Which song did Lord perform at the 2017 MTV VMAs while sick with the flu?
Royals.
No. What fruit is featured in the album art for Melodrama?
Forbidden fruit.
No, the answer's none.
What?
Which song did Lord release first from the Solar Power album?
Solar power.
Yep. What beach-inspired single by Lord contains the lyric, I hate the winter, can't stand the cold?
Solar power.
What international award did Lord win for Best International Female Solo Artist in 2018?
What, sorry?
Which international award did Lord win for Best Female International Solo Artist in 2018?
Best international solo artist.
No, it's a Brit Award.
Oh.
What is the name of Lord's third studio album?
Solar power.
Which song from Melodrama contains the lyric, blow all my friendships to sit in hell with you?
Oh, I've no idea.
Super cool.
Super cool.
You
I like
got
Super
3 of
Cool
them
as well.
right, and all 3 of them, the answer was Solar Power.
Well, at least I know that album.
Solar Power. Solar Power.
Solar power. Solar power. Well, you know, you've beat you. I think you were going to beat me anyway. You are guaranteed a Lord expert.
Thank you. Do I get my badge?
So yeah, I'll send over your badge or the hat. I'm going to sort some merch out for people who win, but I haven't decided what merch yet. So I'll send it out to you. But
Thank
Ben,
you.
thank you so much for coming on for this podcast. It being
Thank you
your
for
first
having me.
podcast, I'm honoured. Do you have a message to give out to the audience before you head off? Anything you'd like?
Oh my God.
No pressure for this bit.
Your dreams, people. Follow your dreams.
Awesome. Thanks so much for coming on again, Ben. For all of Ben's information and my information, he's knocking the studio down right at the end. He's done. He's trashing it.
Get out.
For all of mine and Ben's information, it's all available in the episode description below. Add us on LinkedIn. We'll love to take the conversation there. And thanks so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. See you later, guys. Thank you, Ben. Killed it.
Thank you.
Awesome. That was that. Cheers, Duck.